Welcome everyone back to episode 1, take 31. We're still trying to get to episode 2. We haven't nailed episode 1 yet, but we're trying our gosh darndest.
Yeah.
I'm Average Trey, and here with Sided Williams, my co-host.
What's up? How's it going?
Video games are hard. We are back, episode 1 again. Oh my god. You know,
this is.
I think it's time that I go ahead and acknowledge that, because you always put in the descriptions like take 29, take 30.
Yeah.
And people are going to forget what we're talking about, but it's still episode 1, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah. This is the episode where Trey interviews me.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what about, but no, I don't actually have
That's not true at all.
see, the take thing is just like, I just use it now because it's a faster way of saying episode.
It's true. It's one syllable. It's shorter.
Yeah. And I'm just like, it's take 30. We're here again to do or 31. We're here again to talk about video games and how we play them.
So it's an evolution from the meme of it always being episode 1 to we're just going to call it that now.
Yeah. It's 4 letters and it's not ep.
We have transcended saying episode. We've also transcended having video game as 2 words.
Yeah.
Because as we predicted in season 1, video game as one whole word with no space is going to be how you say it sometime this decade.
Yes. I thought you were actually making an announcement that somebody had somebody from Merriam-Webster has announced this.
I'm holding out for it happening still.
Okay.
Sorry to get your hopes up, but we're still holding out.
You got my I was just like, "Oh, is this the week?"
No, not yet. That would be crazy if it was. We'd be break out the champagne, but
yeah, we'd have to end season 2 here and then start season 3 like next week with video games one word.
We would literally end the season with "We told you so." And then sign up. Drop the mic.
We wouldn't even plug our stuff.
Video game is one word at last, as it should be.
So what I was thinking about the last pod, like we were actually talking about me referencing how we end the podcast just now.
Yeah.
We did the Ginger KO episode, and that ended up being interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, much more serious than we intended.
Yeah, we got
into some real talk with motivation with melee and speedrunning and stuff.
I feel like our backup just one of our default topics just ends up being motivation within whatever we're doing.
Because it's so deep.
Yeah, because the last topic with Reed on our podcast, I remember when we
when we were about to end it, he broke in with, "Hold on, before we close, I just gotta say, you gotta believe in yourself. I don't even know what he said."
It's just like, oh, we're wrapping up. It's just like, hold up, and I'm just like, oh, we had an hour 50 minutes. You could have said something, but apparently we're breaking it in here. If ever anybody comes on the show, bring your own topics. You know?
Feel free. We're not just we run the show, but you can ask us questions. You can bring up stuff.
Yeah,
we don't care. We don't bite.
You can talk about whatever cat. You can talk about Stardew Valley for an hour and a half.
You can talk about whatever cat you want to.
Whatever cat.
Garfield is a good cat.
We had SM Loader on, and we talked about college stories.
And that was kind of a requirement, an obligation, if you will.
True, but
bringing
also,
him on.
And then he talked about Castlevania for a half hour.
Yeah, that was something. The deep nuance of Castlevania tech.
Which Castlevania game was it?
It was the new one. It was like a mix of all the old games together, sort of. I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
I'm not super well versed in Castlevania. I've only played Castlevania 4 on the SNES. So
I've played a little bit of from the NES store on the Switch, and that was kind of it.
I really want to play Symphony of the Night sometime. That's like the de facto Metroidvania game, kind of.
You like for speedrunners.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so the KO Ginger pod, one thing that was interesting throughout the whole Ginger KO pod, and we never referenced it, KO's cam was on the whole time.
Yeah, actually at one point I acknowledge it because he's making a dumb face. I'm like, look at KO right now. But obviously you guys can't see it, so it just sounded kind of like, what is he talking about? But
I've realized that I don't like doing podcasts with the cams on.
Okay, explain your reasoning.
Because with at the start, I actually started with my cam on too.
Yeah, you and KO had it on, then at some point you just turned yours off silently.
Yeah, I turned, without referencing it, I was just like, I'm just turning it off. Because I was paying attention too much of attention too much to how I looked on the cam and
right.
And the only thing I really had to go on reference is like KO's reaction to stuff. And when Ginger was doing his top 10, KO looked so bored.
Really?
He looked like, to me. And
I wasn't even looking at his cam at that point. I didn't even notice.
I was watching it. I don't think he was bored.
Yeah.
Like he was jumping in and it sounded exactly the same. But like at some point he was just, there was some part of my brain that was just like, he looks so bored. But
see, here's the thing, right? Is that, and I think we've definitely discussed this before with streaming with Facecam versus not Facecam. And it's the same way with if you're doing a podcast. I think Facecam changes the whole dynamic because there's that extra layer of not only do you have to sound like you're interested, you got to look like you're interested too.
Exactly.
And it makes it a lot more exhausting. Because I think part of why I find streaming a little more exhausting than I did back in 2014 might be the Facecam element.
Sure.
On top of, I mean, just the standards of having to play SMS at a much higher level is a little more exhausting than like 2014. You could fuck around a little bit more, I think. But
yeah.
You know, that's why I'm thinking like when I stream Elden Ring, I might not use Facecam as like a little experiment and see how that goes.
Sure. I think doing cam during stream is different though.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
Because you're not talking to somebody else. Like you're talking to chat, but you can just kind of half fake that, and then if you're paying attention to the game, you can just pay attention to game. You can have your face rest or
and
whatever.
It's also an even longer form medium than a podcast, because even though a podcast is meant to sound conversational and long form, it's still a contained thing within an hour or 2 hours versus a 5, 6, 7 hour stream where it's just like a running thing. So,
and the only reason that KO had cam on last week was like literally our pre-conversation was Ginger asking, "Oh, we don't do cam for the pod, right?" And we were just like, "No, we don't." And then he's just like, "Good, because I'm wearing like PJs or whatever." Like, and then KO was just like, "Well, we're doing cam, baby. We're throwing our bag down on the ground and go woo."
The like little callback jokes were so funny that episode.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, so we're here. It's been like a couple weeks before the Ginger KO pod. I was like, man, I have so much to talk about on like a solo pod, and I wrote none of it down. And
number one mistake, always write stuff down, because I've had that before where I know coming up, I'm like, oh man, it's going to be a sick episode, and then I forget what the sick stuff was going to be. So now I just write stuff down from now on. So
yeah, well, I was, and then I just kind of didn't.
I think the number one thing we should get to before you get to all your sick stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Top priority, because believe it or not, we speedrun Super Mario Sunshine, and speedrunning is...
Speedrunning is, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Hoverless Gelato Beach Skip. Yeah.
It's viable now.
It's the thing. GBS, the OG way, which is getting the episode 8 shine within the glass in episode 1, therefore unlocking all the episodes availability. That was found nearly 8 years ago in February 2014.
And
time 8 years later, a hoverless version was found where you literally do the thing that we tried to do before that version was found, which is literally just coconut by the glass and then clip in.
Imagine we found the hoverless version first.
Oh, dude, you would have actually quit for good.
Oh my god!
You would have never came back to the game.
I would have never looked. I would have been like, "What the hell is this garbage?"
This is even more of a Zelda-like setup than Honey Skip is.
Oh well, like it has like Hess turning and placing the coconut down, and then Hess turning again in order to set up Mario's angle, and then jump dive roll out into the.
It's more reminiscent of my old shitty Honey Skip setups that I made.
Oh yeah,
where you actually did use like the ESS position to the right and stuff.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was found. And for those of you who haven't seen it, which I'm sure most of you had because you probably follow me in Sunshine stuff, when you hear that it's simply a coconut clip into glass, it's like, well, duh, right? How was that not found sooner? Well, if you saw the precision of this setup, you got like ground pound into the area where the piazza is to face a certain angle. ESS positioning, of course, backflip a certain number of times, Y cam in a certain place. All these steps come together to set up this like pixel perfect angle where you can time a jump into dive and just sort of finesse your way into the glass into a ground pound to get the shine.
Yeah, it is interesting because Sunshine doesn't really, you don't watch Sunshine Movement and go like, oh, it has the same kind of tools as OOT does for setting up stuff, but apparently it does.
It kind of, mainly with, I guess hover timing, or what's like the biggest comparison to Ocarina of Time? It doesn't have like, I guess backflips always go a set distance.
Yeah.
Like a neutral backflip, no control stick held down, always goes the same amount backwards, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I don't know. It's not nearly as precise as Ocarina of Time stuff, but it can be used somehow.
Yeah, there's not like sword slices or anything like that that turn your angle or like make Link go a little bit forward.
Although, you know, one thing that there is you can consistently turn Mario the smallest angle possible by like turning the camera a certain direction with C-stick and centering it with L.
Sure.
Because you know that thing where like to do OG GBS, you have to turn the camera this direction, not this direction, and that way it's centered.
Isn't that still the thing?
Yeah, it's still the thing.
Okay.
But like the reason we don't turn it the other way is that it actually offsets Mario's angle by like the smallest angle possible.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that over and over again and offset Mario's angle to like a fraction of like an angle unit consistently. So it does have that if you need that for something. So
what is it about, talking about Hoverless GBS and who found it? What is it about people, like seemingly random people finding stuff?
I think because certain people who they already don't have their destiny is not already locked into the game. You know, their destiny.
They're free.
They had a calling to like just randomly come to the game, find this sick shit, then just leave forever.
Well, we don't know if he's left forever, but he
hasn't tweeted since he found it.
Yeah, YK pin 64. I had to go through my liked tweets in order to figure out who it was.
That's his handle. Or maybe Sue. I don't know.
Never heard of him before.
Much like Tuval, with although Tuval was like much more well known within the Spyro space at that point.
Yeah, but he's found Hoverless GBS, and people care.
People do care, and we're sort of more okay. I know I'm gonna reel it right now. You were sort of just like, eh.
Well, I saw it and I was just like, this is slow. Like I didn't even.
Well, it's certainly faster than doing Gelato 1 through 7.
Yeah, well, when I saw it initially, I retweeted and liked it after I like realized the pertinence of it. Yeah. And I was just kind of I was looking at it. I'm like, okay, so it's another GBS setup, but it's slow. Like, okay, like cool, you clipped through the thing, but we already clipped through the roof. Like, it's interesting that you found a setup for like the old method. Like, cool, but like, what's the pertinence of this? And then people are just like Hoverless GBS, and I'm just like, oh shit. And then I sat there, and you've had Hoverless world record in the past, right?
No, I haven't. I was just like top 5 or something.
Okay, you've grinded the category at the very least,
dude. When I grinded it, Zapiku's time was just like so ahead of its time. He was still like 2 minutes better than me. It was nuts.
Yeah, and I've never played a Hoverless category, but then again, I've never played 120 either. So
true.
So I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I don't like the restriction of it. Like I don't like removing hover, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I respect this. And I'm like, SB's been playing it. Zelpiku Toval did a run.
Yep. Shadow Mario has the record right now.
Oh yeah, Shadow Mario
27 got the first sub 120 hoverless.
Oh, he got that.
Which is pretty nuts. It's like 2014 all over again, except with hoverless.
Yeah, and so it's interesting. But at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, okay.
See, here's the thing, is that I think it's just an age thing and it being around speedrunning so long thing, because if this was found 6 or 7 years ago, I would be eating this shit up all over this, grinding hoverless. I'd be super passionate, really go at it. But now I'm just, whenever I see stuff like this, I acknowledge and respect the coolness of it, obviously. But I don't have that same drive and passion in my reaction to stuff as I used to.
But you still think it's cool.
I think it's cool. Like, oh yeah, cool, they found that. But I'm not, going off to the races to be like the first like innovator of the space and stuff. I'm just sort of like, yeah, it's cool. But I'm just sort of sitting back, chilling, and be like, yeah, I know.
You're still practicing regular any percent.
Yeah, I haven't changed my routine at all from this.
You're still practicing with a hover nozzle.
Because I don't. Maybe part of it is that I know that like other people are in a better position to grind this out, whereas I'm just like,
Yeah.
well, like 4 of the days of the week I'm gone for like 10 hours or 11 hours, and then like maybe I can grind it on the weekend. I don't know. I think being a wage slave has ruined my drive for stuff a little bit.
But so Hoverless GBS exists, which
Yes.
is like saying that sentence that's important.
I mean, technically it already existed with Yoshi a long time ago, but
Yeah, but that's
we
only
got
in
to say
episode 6 and-
Hoverless Yoshi-less GBS.
Yeah, well, Yoshi-less is way less pertinent or less important. It's just like, oh, episode 6 you can do GBS. It's like debatable to just still do 6 and then still do 7. So like it was never like and it was only in JP, right?
Yeah,
The
it was
Yoshi
JP
thing?
only because of
Yeah.
Yoshi's dismount being different.
Yeah. But yeah, so Hoverless GBS. Keeping on Sunshine for a moment before we skirt away from it. I've PB'd in both of the categories that I'm currently playing in Sunshine.
Dude, yeah, you any percent got a better 115?
Yeah, I got a better 115 by a little bit. And my one-off, or like yesterday, I decided to do True All Hundreds again. Like, to be fair, I had done like a couple half-run attempts that were terrible.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. If you saw these run attempts before, you would not expect this guy to PB this run.
Yeah, well,
like at all.
I booted up the yesterday. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna try to get I want to upload it to YouTube. I want to try to get I want to try to improve the world record or my world record or whatever, just by a little bit, just to like be able to post something to YouTube. And then I was just like, you know what? I'll give it a few days. Like today, I'll just do a note reset and see how it goes. And I was like ahead, and I was like, huh, weird. And I just kept being ahead, and then I died in Pianta 5 Secret. And
A huge time loss too. It probably cost like at least 2 minutes.
I think it's like 2.5. And
Yeah.
I was ahead by like a minute and a bit, and I was just like, well, okay, so it's over, but I'll like continue it. And I was plus like over a minute, and I was sitting there, and this is what, 3 hours into the run,
Yep.
and I'm just kind of like, what? I'll finish it out, see what's up, because I didn't expect to PB anyway. Mentality of steel, and
Oh yeah, good mentality, good mentality.
and then for some reason, Pinna just decided to give me 7,000 gold bills.
Yeah,
And then-
in both Pinna 2 and Pinna 2 in the secret, you got like 3 or 4 gold bills.
Yeah, and I think I golded that split by a minute and a half.
And I called it like going in like halfway
40
through the
seconds.
first one because you combine those two. I was like, this is gonna gold easy,
Yeah, and it was gold by 40 seconds.
easy
And-
peasy.
And then I just continued doing well in Pinna. Like, this is the last segment. So, like, the second last segment, I was behind.
This
after
is
being
also
ahead
this
the
is my
entire run.
least favorite segment in the whole run is the Pinna segment because it's literally the same thing 6 times in a row.
But like, my argument for Pinna being interesting, it's that I'm improvising it every like attempt. It's like, oh, that coin spawned.
Yeah,
Like, the
yeah.
movement's never the exact same.
I guess it's like reacting to coin spawns
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
So maybe watching it, you're just like, oh yeah, this idiot's
it's hella boring to watch though.
It's like, oh, this idiot spam spraying the beach. Oh, he's getting on the stews or whatever. But I'm reacting to each coin and like planning out which ones to skip and which ones to go get. Like, so my brain's like active. It's same with Pianta 6, where it's like,
Oh, yeah.
I have to be an active participant. It might look boring, but I have to like actively think, okay, this Google, should I let this Google hit me, or should I use this Google? Should I get water instead? Like, there's some like inner workings inside of my brain.
Yeah, Pianta 6, for those who don't know, you literally have to drown and then resave the same 2 Piantas like 47 times,
I think that's right. Yeah,
I believe, because then there's like 6 more coins on the tree.
exactly.
But like, yeah, it's a very tedious process. You got to have a Google jump into you as you're doing like a specific setup.
Yeah.
Drown them, instantly hover over them, save them, rinse and repeat. And the whole split takes like 17 minutes long.
Because the meme of this category is collecting 100 coins, where it's all possible within the game.
Yeah.
And this is the only one where the developers went like, here's 6 coins, and that's it. And then they went, oh shit, you can spawn the shine here. Interesting. But it
Yeah.
doesn't crash, which is also interesting.
And Piantas just have infinite coins as long as you keep drowning them and saving them. So
Yeah. So
and
they
that's the
they
thing,
didn't-
right? Is like, even though it looks boring doing that over and over again, I can feel the intensity and the level of thought that goes into it, because you're constantly managing your water level, the amount of goop around you, where the goomies are positioned.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different factors at play, like constantly, so it's pretty intense actually.
It's funny because at one point there was like a really clutch moment where I had like talked to the female Pianta, she spawned the coin. I talked to the male Pianta, he spawned the coin. Or like just before I talked to the male Pianta, I had made it so that the Gooble was attacking me, and then talked to the male Pianta, got thrown out of the way so that the Gooble drowned them as the coins spawned. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so sick.
Yeah, if there was a true all hundos task, it'd be that over and over again.
Yeah, and then the only thing I needed, and somebody did it, I don't remember who it was, but thank you, random person in my chat, was just like, oh my God, that was dope. And I'm just sitting there going like, thank you. But it's just like one set of 2 coins within 47. And then it's just...
That was a dope moment, though. It definitely saved a little bit of time.
And, but yeah, so I ended up world recording by a minute.
Yeah, world record with like a 2.5 minute mistake. So definitely, like, you're gonna improve this probably.
Yeah, I'll try, but like
it's gonna be hard to be ahead early on though. That was a sick run up to that point.
But you've seen the night before I was 5 minutes behind halfway through.
How did that like? Did you practice between that run and this run? Not at all.
It was like the night before. I didn't turn on the game in between. I just kind of
dude, you randomly just like turned up the jets. I don't know. That's crazy.
And I appreciated like at some point last week you were saying just like, oh, it's really impressive that you can just kind of turn it on and just like you don't have any notes for the routes.
I think it's a harder category to memorize stuff than 120 easily.
Yeah,
because 120 a lot of it's just doing the levels and like, oh, blue coin there occasionally.
Yeah, there's 240 blue coins to know in 120. There's what 6,312 coins to know in true all hundo, but they're all like little, like Noki's easy because it's like, okay, there's 64 in the ruins. What do I have to do before the ruins? And just kind of.
And I like the little hints you give yourselves in the splits. Like one of them in Noki Bay is 135 degrees.
Yeah,
because it lets you know, like, oh, you start off by going at a 135 degree angle from your starting angle into the coins in the water.
Around. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a cool reminder.
I just have those little blurbs like in Rico. It's just like, oh, start with 2 boxes or turn around crates bloopers.
Yeah, you almost need that because you might go in and be like, okay, which exact hundo was this again?
Like you just need to get the start. Like all I need is just the start.
Yeah, once you know the starting movement, you know the rest. You're like, okay, I know how it plays out from here.
So I might try to improve that, or I just might upload that and just kind of be like, that's because there's nobody that's really nipping at my heels for.
I would definitely at least try to get a run, like maybe even a run that's a little sloppier in the first part, as long as you don't die like with that huge death though. Like easy improvement, honestly.
Such a huge death, but yeah, so I improved that.
No, maybe not, because you might realize just like how good that pinna was and be like, fuck, how do I?
Dude, that pinna was fucking amazing.
I gotta be like a minute ahead going into pinna or I'm fucked.
I golded 3 beach splits, and like that means that 6 hundos were impeccable.
Yeah, that was actually unreal. I watched that unfold. I was like, dude, this guy's so good at pin a hundo all of a sudden. Goddamn.
I don't know where it came from, but so I improved that record out of nowhere because the 2 runs I had done before were like plus 10 minutes halfway through, and I hadn't played Gelato hundos in like months. Mm-hmm. So the fact that I entered Gelato and I was just like, oh fuck, I need to do trees, because I started doing like Pianta or Gelato 5 movement, and then I was just like, wait, no, I have to do hundo. So then I had to go do tree, and I'm just like, this is not going to go well. But it went fine. Like overall, I didn't lose a shit ton of time. I didn't save a shit ton of time. It just kind of happened. And
do you think you'll practice specific things going into your next run?
I think I might have to practice Gelato.
Okay.
Some Gelato hundos are tricky. But other than that, like there's a lot of time to save. Like if I try to implement some like any percent strats that I have been learning, like maybe I can make some time save happen. I don't know. It's just like a really it's a unique category, and I don't know. Who knows? It's just interesting to do all the routes and everybody being in the chat. Like it's my favorite part is seeing random like really good runners, like Found Your Gun or Despin or
Fredadish.
I was specifically going to say Fredadish because like they randomly come into chat and go like, oh, that route was sick, or wow, that was a sick split or something. And I'm sitting there going like, this is the one thing I have, and I appreciate that you guys that are good at the game.
You're rising up in any percent. That's not one thing you have. Come on.
Well, no, it's just because Freddish specifically came in after my Rico 1/100's no boss split.
Yeah.
Because like you have to do every loading zone, so it's within the boss
Rico 1 no boss is so tedious.
There are 5 coins.
And that includes all the singular ones over the water and stuff.
Exactly. And then there's a blooper like way in the corner that you never want to go get. But so you route in these, and it's a 4-minute split. And I golded it by 8 seconds, I think. And I was like, where the fuck did this come from?
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea. And Freddish was just like, bro, that was a sick route. And I was sitting there going like, in my head, I was like sick. Like, dope.
Speaking of Freddish just like tied the Rico 3 record yesterday.
Yeah.
What a madman. You got to do some crazy... The crane has to be just right when you get there. And it's a really quick Beyblade into a insta triple jump. Time the hover perfectly so you can just instantly climb up there.
Yeah, if you go look at Trey and I's Twitter, we both retweeted it. So that apparently was like 3 attempts in, and now he's like tied world record with a world record that seemed like really impossible to get.
Yeah, I occasionally I will just turn on Rico 3 and try to get those strats to just like fluke a record myself. And I've gotten the triple jump a couple of times in the past, just like he did, but I mistimed the hover. So,
dude, mistime like you have to figure out a visual cue with the camera and the hover.
See, what I would do, I actually use the triple jump noises as an audio cue.
Oh,
because I love my audio cues so much, and actually, that is actually a strat that I think even Iced Windowsill said in his very, very old Piazza or Shine Gate climb triple jump technique tutorial.
Yeah,
where before the Y turn method, you would do the triple jump, and on like the third flip noise, you would hover.
Exactly.
And that'd be when you would get enough height to get the ledge grab. So,
but yeah, so Freddish tied that. There's a lot of improvement going on in the IL sheet.
Oh, and the craziest thing with ILs before we get off SMS.
Sure. Well, this is the SMS cast apparently so far, which is fine. I'm totally fine.
We promise this is the last thing though. Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Jur, who actually goes by J, not Jur, but the name looks like Jur.
Jur_7.
And, this might be outdated the moment the podcast goes up because that's how things run around here.
Oh, did he do it?
Not yet.
Oh.
But it might by the time this goes up. He has 14 out of all 15 Pinna IL records.
Yeah.
That's absolutely bonkers. I can't even state how crazy that is.
And the only one he still has to get is
Pinna 7.
Yeah, he has to get Shadow Mario.
Which is just like this really, really extremely stupid Shadow Mario strat that like Inkstar is insane at somehow.
Yeah.
You gotta do a instant... It's literally like a 2-second IL.
Yeah, all the Shadow Marios are just that quick.
Literally, the difference in the Pinna Pinna all record sweep that Jur could get, the difference is a single spin spray dive spam spray on Shadow Mario, and that's it. If he nails that, he gets all of them.
I'm just glad that during his Pinna IL, I don't even know what to call it, like the IW essentially, during his grind, that one of the harder grinds was Pinna 5.
Yeah, Pinna 5 was insane.
Yeah, apparently it was like multiple days, and I was just like, good, because Pinna 5, I had the record. Well, good. Like he was telling me while I was streaming, and I was just like, good. But because I used to have the record in 2015, and then Hayayako took it from me, and then I had it before Hayayako took it from me last year, and then now I'm just sitting there in third. Now I'm sitting there in third after Jay takes it.
The original idea was that in the prophecy before Jur showed up, you were gonna get that record back in a year from now.
Yeah,
and then I was gonna make a sick video on the longest lasting rivalry on a single level in SMS history.
Hey, it could still happen.
Because it was literally you and Hayayako going back and forth every couple of years.
Yeah,
since 2014, you guys have been trading it.
Yeah, for some reason.
But now Jay has it, so throw a wrench in there a little bit.
Yeah, this is gonna be weird phrasing. I'm gonna let him get the Pinna world. I'm gonna let him get the Pinna world. Not that
we're gonna call it the Pinna record sweep.
Yeah, the Pinna record sweep. I'm gonna let him get that. Not that I'm standing in his way at all, obviously. And then I'm gonna try to get Pinna 5.
I don't know, man. There's a part of me that I'm like, man, I gotta stop this from happening.
Really?
We can't let this one guy get all these records.
He's Canadian though.
True, a Canadian pride thing.
Canadian, that's why I'm so proud of Fred.
When you see like one person pull off something like this, I'm just in there like, how do we let him get away with this?
Well, see, that's different for you. It's like you, Ramato, and Despin, and like all the ILers probably are looking at just like, we can't let this happen. I'm sitting here going like, go Canada, I don't give a shit. Like,
well, yeah, the Canadian thing is part of it, but yeah.
Well, it's Canadian, and I don't really do ILs.
Yeah, I'm a much bigger ILer of non-hundos than you. So
well, like if Pinna Hundo had any, like I have Serena Hundo record and what's the other one I have? Bianco Hundo record. I have those two records. But if Pinna Hundo record mattered to me, because the thing about Pinna Hundo is that you have to go get like the Insta fruit, like any fruit with Yoshi, and just do that. And you can't really do that at RTA. And I've talked about it multiple times on the podcast that I do not want to grind that IL because that IL's lame. And
it is lame. I agree.
So I'm like, if that mattered at all to me, I'm just like, then that would suck. Like if he was going for a Bianco sweep, I'm like, bro, I can't let him get Hundo. Like, and if he was doing a Serena sweep, I'd be like, bro, I can't let him get Hundo. But I have no dog in this fight. I'm just sitting there, go Canada.
I feel like if I tried to grind Pinna 8, I could maybe do that, but I haven't tried yet. It's all about just like firing these really accurate, precise shots to hit all these balloons at once.
Yeah.
And then Pinna 3, I wanted to grind Pinna 3 IL strats, but they're slightly different than what I do in RTA, and it fucks the muscle memory and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, maybe when I'm done with any percent, I'll grind that. But yeah, we'll see.
So what is your stance right now? Do you want to try to take anything from him?
I don't even know. I'm not super good at any Pinna level except like Pinna 2 secrets. I had a bronze medal in until I think Urbani got a tied record with Jur. So now I think Urbani single-handedly removed like 6 people's bronze medals. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Pinna, I'm not good at Pinna levels.
Yeah, me neither. Pinna 5 was my only claim to fame, and that was because it was just like there was this niche Ferris wheel thing that nobody understood except for kind of me, and that was
true.
It. But yeah, so that's the SMS segment.
And you know what I actually watched. I was there for the entirety of your Trill Hundo's record recently.
Yeah.
Because I was doing what I think I'm going to be showing on the recording, like the video portion of this podcast.
Yeah.
The whole time. A single boss fight.
You're going to be showing the single boss fight?
Yes. Just to show how painful it was.
Damn.
But here's the thing, right? Technically, all right, it's not just one boss fight. I had to beat the same boss fight 8 times in 8 different Hollow Knight.
There we go.
So, I'm playing Hollow Knight. I have like 40 hours in it. It's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I could beat the game right now. I'm just trying to find the extra stuff, though, because it is a Metroidvania. I'm trying to like explore the whole world, find all the upgrades and stuff.
Do you know that if you beat the final boss, you won't be able to like go back? Or
I Googled that recently, yesterday, and saw a Reddit thread 3 years ago. They said, yes, you can continue it when you beat the game.
Okay.
So I think next time I play the game, I might just like beat the game and then go from there, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I always look that up because sometimes like Dark Souls 1, it just kicks you out when you beat the game. You got to start New Game Plus. There's no option there.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I would like to find as much as I can in the game because I'm like super yoked. I don't know. my character's super upgraded and stuff.
Yeah.
I have the most powerful nail, which is your weapon. You don't use a sword, you use a nail because it's all bug themed, so you use like a nail.
I didn't know that.
And yeah, it's got a lot of fun. I guess to give my Hollow Knight experience so far, I'll go more in depth when I like actually beat it and do all the stuff.
I'll try to within the next 2 weeks. I'll play it too, so that we can both talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got like a lot of fun. characters around the world that you see every now and then. Kind of like there's a ton of Dark Souls parallels. Like there's like the tropey characters, like the character who acts really proud and brave, but he's actually cowardly.
Mm-hmm.
But then you end up actually fighting with him one time, and it's like, oh my god. I don't want to spoil stuff though. And then there's like the guy who's
He's like, oh my god.
There's the guy who's kind of a joke character, which actually it's funny. So the boss that I am just relentlessly getting frustrated by showing on screen right now is the dream version, because there's like a dream world aspect of this game, and you can use a dream nail to go to the dream world for different entities and see, and like usually you just fight like a hard boss or something.
Sure.
And it's the dream version of Zote the Mighty, or like the Gray Prince Zote, he goes by in this dream.
Okay.
And so the deal is, and this is a super late game thing, Zote as a character is kind of a joke character who's like, oh, I'm the best, I'm fucking sick. But like he's just like a total pushover.
Mm-hmm.
But in this dream, he's a really tough boss. That's the whole thing. And he like has it's just so funny, like the whole setup of the boss arena and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time you beat him, it's not too bad. It is the usual 1 health. You have sort of a similar to Zelda health system, except you can't take like fractions of a health. It's always like 1 health or more.
Oh.
So I have like 8 health right now. You start with 5, but I have 8 now. I think I'm 1 mask shard away from getting a 9th one. They're called masks because it's like a mask shard. A mask shard.
Okay.
So I have like 8 health. I have the strongest nail. I beat him pretty well. But then something unusual happens that no other dream thing had in the game so far for me, where the dreamness of the thing I entered was still there. So I'm like, wait, okay, I gotta do it again, I guess. I go back in. I gotta fight him again, but it's like a slightly harder version of him, right?
Yeah.
And I think he does the same amount of health or like damage to you, but he has, different attacks that are a little bit trickier to dodge and stuff. Whatever, Harder version of the boss, no big deal. I beat him in a few attempts, and the dreaminess of the thing that I enter is still there. I'm like, wait, is my game glitching? What's going on?
Yeah, okay.
So I go back in to this dream world, and it's the same exact boss, except he does 1 more damage to you per hit.
Crazy.
And I'm like, okay. And admittedly, it gave me some trouble because he's got really hard attack patterns. You don't know if he's going to dash into you or do like this crazy high jump into you. Basically, it's very crapshooty and hard to avoid getting hit a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I'm just bad at video games. I don't know. But yeah, so I had to beat him. He does twice the damage. Whatever. I beat it. And the dream thing is still there. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go in again. Same exact boss, but he does 3 damage this time. So you see where this is going, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And it's
There's
funny
a trend.
Because what's up?
There's the bench press trend. It's going up. It's going up.
Yeah, he's adding 45 plates with each time. It's crazy. But like, so what's happening here, and also it's funny because the subtitle, the boss name, adds an additional word each time.
Oh yeah.
I forget what the words are, but it's like
like an adjective.
They add like magnificent, diligent, powerful, Gray Prince Zote.
That's
and
dope.
then basically you got to keep doing this over and over again. He does more and more damage each time. By the time I got to like him doing 5 damage to you each hit, you effectively can only take 2 or 3 hits before you're dead.
Oh.
Because there is a healing system, but the healing is so slow. It's even slower than like the Estus flask and stuff.
Ugh.
You can pretty much only safely heal when he is like knocked down from a certain number of hits, which happens like 3 times in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get much chances to heal. And he does so much damage to you, and he's so hard to avoid. I was grinding this boss for like so many hours and just doing it while watching Sid stream the whole time. Thanks for stream, by the way. That gave me good background stuff to watch.
You're welcome, man.
And then, yeah, so, and by the time, like, I thought, like, okay, surely after, like, 6 of these, it's going to be over, right? I think, like, the 7th one, they add the word sensual to it. It's like, sensual, amazing, fucking, like, I don't know, like, all these words listed. And then I beat that one after like another hour of, like, seriously, like an hour of grinding because it's so fucking hard to avoid these attacks. It could be a mad cause bad thing. I'm not sure. Maybe it's supposed to be easier. I'm just bad. And then it's still happening. And literally the top word is cut off because it's like a list of words going down. The top word, I think it's invincible, is halfway cut off on the screen. Like it's going off the screen. And I'm like, okay, surely, because this is the highest word on the list, there is no way there's any more words. He is doing so much damage to me that I only have 1 health left when he hits me. So effectively I can get hit twice before I die.
Fuck.
I actually eventually beat this boss. Only got hit 1 time the whole time. It was pretty sick. And guess what?
There was another one.
You know, you would think because the words are literally going off the screen, there's no more. Surely this is it, right? No, there's one more. And he literally one-shots you.
Damn.
And there's no extra word. Whatever the word is, it's off screen. I don't know what the word is. Fuck, maybe there's like maybe it's in the code somewhere. Maybe my monitor's not big enough. I can't even see what the word is. But this nameless thing with all these subtitles, just one. I haven't been the boss yet. I gave up for now. I'll do it later. But yeah, he literally one-shots you. I guess I could find that 4th mask shard and then get 9 health, and he wouldn't one-shot me. Maybe then I'll attempt it again, but goddamn, man. I gotta say that from this one boss they make you do over and over and over again, they must have been high or something. Because, like, sure, it's supposed to be like a joke. He's a joke character. But goddamn, like, it's the hardest boss in the game, IMO. Like, so far that I've experienced.
What do you get?
Luckily, it's optional. Thank God it's optional. I don't know what you get because, again, I still got to beat it again. I don't even know if it's the last one.
What have you gotten from the other dream sequences or something? Like, have you gotten a mask shard? Have you gotten
You don't get diddly squat except for you get it, like, marked in your journal for, like, oh, here's the enemy you fought.
Are there Steam achievements?
There's like a journal of, like, all the enemies you fought and stuff.
Are there Steam achievements for it?
There are achievements. You get an achievement for the first time you beat him. And I'm assuming you get an achievement for, like, the final one, which I don't know if I'm on the final one right now or there's, like, one more.
Uh-huh.
But I'm going to find out eventually, I guess.
I literally have turned on Hollow Knight for 3 minutes. I looked at all of your achievements, or I looked at your achievements and looked at the most recent one just to, like, gauge where you were in the game. And I went to the achievements list and scrolled down. It's just like, okay, so how far down is this last achievement that you got? I can't remember what it was, but I scrolled down, like, I think 4/5 of the page, and it was there. And it was literally like, it was along the lines of, like, very close to finishing the game wording. And I was sitting there going, like, huh. So he's been enjoying it. Because you've only been playing it for like a week and a half or something like that.
It's been a few weeks. I think I have like 40 hours in it now. But yeah, I just want to reiterate, my whole day, except for like going to the gym and eating and stuff.
Oh yeah.
My whole day yesterday was playing this one boss fight over and over again. And just like watching streams in the background or podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's just, he's hard enough when he like kills you in 3 hits, let alone fucking 1 hit. Goddamn. I've never once managed to beat him without getting hit because he, like, if you watch the podcast video, he can either just like start running into you. You got to use audio cues to know what he's going to do, sort of. But like, he can send out these bombs sometimes. You got to like watch the explosions. He can send like little entities after you, which do not as much damage, but like, you know, fair bit of damage, especially in later fights.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know how to not get hit. I'm bad, I guess. I don't know.
I for some reason, the masochist in me is like, you describing this to me makes me really inspired to actually try to play this game now.
I want you to get to this, and I want to see if I'm actually bad or you like beat this instantly because like I'm struggling, man. Maybe I'm just not good at 2D games. I don't know.
Hey, 2D games are third is hard.
I was joking about how 2D games take 2/3 the skill as 3D games. But this boss is changing my mind right now. Goddamn.
Speaking, so like what? How long did it take for me to beat Boga Brothers? Like 16 hours, something like that. A little lower than that.
It was at least 12.
Well, because I know my longest stream was like a 16-hour stream of just the Bogey Brothers fight with a little bit of Rocket League smashed in the middle.
Yeah, I knew there was Rocket League in there
because we actually used the Rocket League for a podcast.
Yeah.
But that was my first attempt of it. And speaking of Bogey Brothers, and that was a really difficult fight. So this fight sounds really fucking hard.
Yeah, and if you see the video, you'll be like, okay, this looks pretty Or maybe you'll be like, this looks easy as fuck. This guy sucks.
Or I just won't look at it and just kind of play the game.
Yeah. Also, maybe don't spoil yourself. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah. Maybe a little bit. But
like another crazy thing is that, well, actually, I don't want to spoil you get all these power ups which help you even more in combat.
Yeah.
And despite all these, I have all these movement options, all these abilities, and it's still hella tough. So I gotta say, my number one praise of this game versus Dark Souls or any other game for that matter, the difficulty curve was done extremely well.
Oh, yeah?
Because oftentimes in these games, the trap they fall into is that early on, it's actually pretty front-loaded with difficulty because you're so weak as a character that enemies just kill you so fast because you're so weak. And then eventually you hit your stride at some point and start doing pretty well because you're so powered up.
Uh-huh.
But somehow in this game, they struck this balance where early game is actually pretty damn easy. You can go through. It's actually a good difficulty too. It's challenging, but not too challenging. Sure. I didn't really die that many times at all. But in late game where you're super powered up, I'm dying like crazy. So the difficulty curve was done super well in this game. So I gotta give kudos for that.
What do you think for the difficulty curve conversation for Dark Souls? What do you think Dark Souls does? In Undead Burg, I remember playing Undead Burg and dying a few times, even though they're grunt enemies.
See, the thing in Dark Souls, and it's especially different if it's your first Souls game because you're not used to the mechanics and stuff.
Yeah.
But if it's your first Souls game, you're gonna get destroyed in early game, inevitably.
Yeah.
Because I know I did. Going into a new Souls game, already having experience with Souls games, I still feel like it's partially true because you have so few Estus Flask usages and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas in late game, you get 10 or 15, so you can sort of just tank some hits every now and then, sort of go through willy-nilly. But this game, they just find ways to kill you so much easier despite all your power-ups. So it's very interesting.
Interesting. Well, weird question.
Okay.
Weird out of nowhere question. About Dark Souls 2.
Weird.
About Dark Souls 2, literally
Dopes.
the 2, not TOO.
I didn't think you meant that.
Okay, but so you start the game with one Estus Flask use.
Yeah, when you talk to the woman.
Yeah.
She gives you it.
She gives you one Estus Flask use?
I think just one, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but you also have your little healing crystals, though, as well.
Yeah. So do you think Dark Souls 2 does well as a first Dark Souls? Or a first Dark Souls-esque?
I think to some extent, any of the three can work pretty well as a first one, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're all good in their own ways because one is the best in terms of the mysteriousness of it and the exploration because the world is so you feel like you're just traveling this world. There's no warping until late game, and
or at least mid game, yeah.
The feel's very different, I suppose, and then two is a combination of 1 and 3 where it sort of has more of an exploration feel than 3 does, but it's also a lot more streamlined than 1 was. And then 3 is super streamlined. It's here's your blacksmith, here's your thing, here's go this way, go that way, blah 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 blah. But they're all good in their own way. I think starting with any of them is fine, to be honest.
What do you mean? What do you think difficulty wise though?
I'm not very good at remembering how difficult each game was per se.
Yeah. Dark Souls 1 was your first.
I think
Dark
that
Souls.
3. I think that 3 had the hardest bosses in some cases.
Sure.
But I felt like the strategy to beat them wasn't as fun as 2 because 3 was a lot more just roll spam to win and just very crapshooty.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like 2, the fights were a lot more strategic and learning stuff, but 3 was a lot more, they just had more of a crapshooty feel to me. Because you could just spam roll so much easier, even though their attacks are a little less predictable than 2.
I guess the question is, which game benefits more from having experience within Dark Souls?
That's a tough question.
I know, and I know we're talking about Hollow Knight, but it's just you talking about the usage of health, and then going to Dark Souls with 5
Yeah.
Estus flasks, and then I was thinking about Dark Souls 2 and the fact that you only have one, but you have your like auxiliary health stuff that kind of works alongside it.
See, here's the thing: is that in Hollow Knight, you start with 5 health, and your health doesn't really go that much higher throughout the game. There's not that many mask shards.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm in super late game. I only have 8 health now. And I'm 1 away from 9, I guess. But, I just feel like the enemy patterns, the way they progress and stuff throughout the game, it definitely, like, the difficulty curve is most smooth in this game, but maybe that's easier to balance in a 2D game versus a 3D game, for all I know.
It's 2/3 as hard.
It's two-thirds harder to balance. Whichever is the easier way. I don't know.
Yeah, whichever 2/3 harder.
2/3, yeah, because it's 2/3
easier.
as hard.
2/3 is hard, yeah.
Or maybe that's easier. I don't know. I'm confused.
No, that's easier.
Anyway.
Okay.
Maybe, it's possible that Dark Souls 3 would be a little more difficult to get into as your first one, because in a sense, 3 almost sort of assumes you already know some of the soul stuff going into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's very much like...
Well, it's also like 5 years after the first.
Yeah,
or however long
it has this vibe of, the drill. Here's your stuff. Here's the weapons,
Well, it's like, oh yeah, it's the third Dark Souls, but it's also the third... it's the third like Dark Souls of the original series of Dark Souls, and it knows that other games are like imitating it.
Yeah, and they're catering to a bigger audience of people who have already played a game like that.
You know this genre.
Dark Souls 1, which was like the OG of that kind of. So
yeah.
Well, I guess Demon Souls was, but yeah.
And thinking about like the only thing I have to compare against lately, like I have played Dark Souls and I played most of Dark Souls 2. The only game that I have recently to compare to is Vanquish. And the thing that I haven't really thought about until just now, like health-wise, is that Vanquish doesn't have it has a health system, but it's like Call of Duty where it's just like, oh, you got hit, hide.
Jelly screen.
Yeah, you have jelly screen and everything's like the sound's kind of fucked up and you just kind of stand there and wait to not be hit for a while and then and then it all just goes away and then your health gets back to normal. Instead of having to like go off alone and like take an Estus flask shot or anything like that, you just have to kind of sit there and wait. Which I guess in some ways takes more time than an Estus flask.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have infinite health, but at the same time, it's like it does take time to get your health back. So
I saw like a H-Bomber guy video, like a Dark Souls 2 review a while ago, and a point he brings up is that like the health system in a game is arguably the most important thing in the game. The way that you heal and how easy or hard it is to heal and what methods there are to heal can drastically change how a game plays out, I guess.
Yeah. Well, like that's one of our biggest critiques of Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah, because you can just pause the game, eat whatever you want, and fucking it's like nothing.
You're just like, oh, okay, well, I have 2 hits. I'm gonna get killed by this Lionel in 2
pretty
hits.
Much, unless you're gonna get one shot, like taking damage is like a nothing issue in that game.
It's like, but I have 7,000 cooked durians, so I'm fine.
Yeah, I can just pause the game, eat for free with like no time passage.
Yeah, that was like it's surprising that Master Mode didn't put anything in it. It's like, oh,
yeah,
it was like, oh, here's Master Mode. Also, you can still eat without any punishment. It's like, oh, okay, well.
See, I think Hollow Knight does healing really well because you sort of have like a mana pool sort of deal. And you had to like sit there and charge to heal for like a second, and you can't go anywhere. And like if your charge gets interrupted, then you don't get a heal.
Yeah.
And there's different or not badges. I'm thinking of Paper Mario. There's like 40 different things you can get to like change maybe like nail length, or if you're at 1 health, then you do more damage, stuff like that. So.
I don't know. I was just those were questions that I thought of. Just to
you know what, dude? I just had a brain blast idea right now.
Go.
So the first emblem badge, I forget the name. I'm playing this game for 40. I forget the name for it. The first one that you get as an example, that I literally never use, because why would you want to be out like at 1 health, is the more damage for 1 health badge.
Okay.
What if, okay, get this.
You used it?
Because the boss is going to one-shot me anyway.
Okay.
What if I damage myself down to 1 health, use the bat? Ooh, wait.
Ooh.
I might have had a brain blast right now. I might try that next time.
Can you enter with low health?
Yeah, you can just damage yourself and go in.
Because speaking of true all hundos again, I remember the suggestion being like, oh, you should enter King Boo with low health. And I'm just like, well, you can't.
Oh,
no,
wait,
the loading
actually,
zone just kind of resets it.
I don't know if entering the dream world resets your health or not. God damn it.
All right, you got to figure that out.
If that resets your health, this is a bad idea. But
yeah, this is a bad idea.
if there's a way to do that, then I'm totally going to try that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll get more into Hollow Knight when I actually like beat the game and do more stuff in it. But
yeah, I'll make sure to play it in the next 2 weeks.
It's very much just tried and true, very Metroidvania-y. Like they don't even hide the fact that like that's what it is. It's very much a Metroid Castlevania kind of game. Like go around, get shit, upgrade your shit. That's what it is. So
hey,
it's a grand old time.
I'll probably end up streaming parts of it because I've been trying to stream every day of 2022 so far.
Yeah, that'd be it. Honestly, with what you're trying to do with streaming every day, it would be hard to not stream your casual playthroughs.
Yeah, I gotta stream some of it. I've been doing a lot of like Vanquish and Sunshine, and that's kind of like some Stardew with Rue every Sunday.
You've been rising up in Vanquish. Do you have like almost a sub 3 in Vanquish?
Yeah, I've cut it down pretty well. I have a 316 now in Godhard.
So you're like within an hour of the Godhard record now.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
The record's 225 by some guy in I think it's like Zoko, starts with a Z, in from 2015.
Yeah, it was funny watching this progression of starting out with like, I'm just hanging on by a thread. I just gotta beat God hard mode whatsoever. Just beat it.
Yeah, I gotta.
And then it came into, I'm just gonna practice it, like do a run every now and then, see if I can like at least do it for the marathon. Into you're sort of becoming a serious runner of it now, almost.
Yeah, I looked at the guides.
Yeah, that's how you're getting serious, watching videos.
I went to speedrun.com and I looked at guides that were made about 4 years ago. And they were telling you all the tech. There's movement tech. There's
what?
What I was gonna say before is Vanquish is what was said. It was like the Dark Souls of butt slide third person shooters.
Right. I think that is the accurate and exact quote.
Butt slide shooters. But there's
it's like Mario Sunshine's got butt slides.
It does have butt slides.
That's crazy.
If you get Sam, who's the main character of Vanquish, to slide on his butt,
he goes hella fast.
He goes faster. His animation is like it's faster.
All I'm getting from this is that Vanquish copied off of Sunshine.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
Because butt slides give you a lot of momentum and speed. So
it is interesting. It's like Ginger would hate me for this, but you kind of have to get a feel for it. It's like every time you do a knee slide or a butt slide, Sam, which is the main character of Vanquish, it's nice shot, Sam. There's a bunch of memeable lines in Vanquish. Sam. Nice shot, Sam. There's this like little monorail bit in the middle where you have to snipe all these searchlights, and it takes so long, and it's really not hard at all, and you just kind of sit there and it's just chill. And
it's like an auto scroller where you just sort of sit there and shoot at stuff every now and then.
Yeah, the lights come on and you're trying to be stealthy and it's like dark out and nobody's talking. You're in this monorail with a bunch of NPCs and they're all just sitting there waiting for you to shoot these lights.
That reminds me of the part of Resident Evil 4 where you're just standing on that like zip line thing and you're going down like just shooting at people like just standing there with axes.
Exactly.
Every time you shoot someone, Ashley does like a little fist bump.
Exactly.
So she just fist bumps over and over again.
It's exactly that, except for there's no fist bump. It's just a voice line. So from one of the NPCs in the monorail, they go like, "Nice shot, Sam," or enemy disabled, or like, and then there's another "nice shot, Sam," or whatever.
Or
like
we are nearly there.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like those memeable NPC lines.
Yeah.
And it's just nice shot, Sam. Like, but And then there's one that's just like I'm trying to be quiet, but also I have to say nice shot because it's like it's a segment where you have to be stealthy or like trying to be stealthy, but like they don't care and they're just like nice shot, Sam, and they're just like
you can make like
their breath.
You can make like a web comic about that, just going around and like in the intercom, nice shot, Sam, and they just catch you.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're just
I wish you could stop saying nice shot, Sam, for once. Like I appreciate the compliments, but like okay, they're trying to be stealthy here. Okay,
it's just like Sam. Nice shot.
I gotta just say how nice that shot was. I can't help it.
But what was I saying? There's a feeling. You have to get a feel for the knee slide or the butt slide. It seems like Sam wants to go a specific direction, and it's kind of random what direction he wants to go. But if you find like the sweet direction that he wants to go, it'll go super fast. And like it could be off left of your screen. It could be like forward left. It could be forward right.
Wait, so there's some RNG to the angle you get when you butt slide?
I feel like somebody that actually runs the game of the crew that does.
So you mean like you?
Well, sure.
Because
they
you run
would
the
say,
game now.
They would say, no, it's not random. You have to just like turn your camera a little bit and then it'll be top left or something like that. But right now I'm getting the feel for it and it seems like I have to like find it. I have to find the sweet spot to press. And
you should ask the other runners of the game the frame data of the angle of the butt slide. And they could tell you to get a feel for it.
No, you just gotta get a feel for it.
Honestly, we don't know. We just feel it out, bro.
Well, see, right now that's what I'm trying to do. And then like melee attacking sucks in Vanquish. So like if you kill, overdrive is so important.
No offense to Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah, melee is so bad. Like
that was a dumb joke.
If you kill just like any enemy with melee, it depletes your entire overdrive meter. Which is so useless. Sucks. It's so because you've seen like the little bit of God Hard. Overdrive is so valuable.
That's the thing where it like slows time down, right?
Yeah, it's your whole meter, and it contributes to your knee slides or your whatever slides, and it contributes to your slowdown time, and it's the flood meter. It's your water tank. And imagine if you just like killed one enemy with a melee attack as Mario, then your whole water meter.
You lose all your water.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, that's terrible. Like,
well, it's weird because I mean, you conserve ammo, but I guess that's not as important as overdrive.
No,
like in a pinch.
But and apparently and I didn't realize this, but I kind of did realize it. Each gun has its own melee like animation. So like if you have a sniper out, he'll do like this kick movement, and if you have an assault rifle out, he'll do this like punch. That propels him forward and keeps you moving. But the animation is like, you can take advantage of it because it goes so fast. Yeah. Like regular walking sucks in comparison to the melee animation, but knee sliding is faster or butt sliding is faster, whatever. And so once your overdrive gets to the bottom for knee sliding or butt sliding, then you just roll out of that, do a melee attack, and your overdrive fills up while you're doing your melee animation. But if you're too close to an enemy, it will just be like, oh, you want to kill this enemy with a melee attack? And you're like, no, game. But it'll do it anyway. So you have to make sure you're not close to an enemy in order to do it. But it's like interesting how fast your movement can be if you like roll out of a knee slide, do a melee attack, and you'll propel yourself forward and then do that a couple times and then knee slide again.
That's weird that does meleeing just like one shot everything?
Not bosses.
Because I feel like it has to be pretty powerful to justify using your whole overdrive meter.
I wonder if it's like a set amount of health or not. I know it kills the like red grunts pretty fast, but there are like gold grunts that are the most difficult ones because they just kind of auto one-shot you or like seemingly auto one-shot you. But yeah, it'd be interesting to figure that out. That's actually a good question. I'll figure that out. And
more testing.
But so that exists. And then there's like some clipping. But the biggest thing that I learned, and in very Sid fashion, without doing much prep, I did like a couple of missions with it beforehand, being like, well, okay. And then I thought, it's just like, oh, okay, this is how this works. I have some understanding of it. I'll go into a run. And in true Sid fashion, I just only did that and went, okay, so I'll kind of improvise it during a run. I'll just go in, see where I can use this tech, And instead of going to each mission and just like trying to figure it all out or whatever, that seems kind of lame. I'll just do a run. So there's infinite EMP grenades.
Ooh.
If you just like, if you swap between frag grenades and EMP grenades at like the right time during the right part of the animation, if you do like a jump throw, it'll just count as depleting one number of your grenades versus the other. So you can just kind of use infinite EMP grenades or infinite frag grenades if you want, but EMP grenades
so you're
are
you're duping grenades.
Exactly. Like you start with in order to use multiple EMP grenades, you start on frag, and then you start the animation with your frag. Mid animation, you swap to EMP, and then it depletes the EMP. But if it had 0 already, it'll just throw an EMP even though you didn't have one.
Oh wow, that's crazy. So you have like infinite. Wow.
so you can choose which one, but it's way
you can only have infinite of one of them because like one of them's going to be 0.
Yeah,
and you can't start with the 0 one. So
exactly. And
interesting.
But like frag grenades are valuable at some points, but EMP is just like so.
That just seems like that's one of those oversights where it's like, how'd they not catch that? Kind of thing.
I never knew it happened. But what's funny is that I did the couple runs with it. Like I did 2 runs in one day and PB'd twice. And now I'm at the point with Vanquish that I can do 2 runs in one day, which is pretty big.
That's huge. That's a far cry from 18 hours on one boss or whatever.
Exactly. And so it feels more like doing those 2 runs. It feels more like a mechanic than it does like something you're taking advantage of. For the bosses, it specifically feels like you're cheesing the game, but most of the other levels still feel like pretty much the same.
Can you do really cool Halo stuff with like launching yourself with a grenade and stuff?
No.
Or like I've seen like in Titanfall 2 speedruns, Halo speedruns, and they got like rocket jumps, grenade jumps, all that stuff.
No, you just kind of die.
Like all the cool speedrun stuff.
Yeah, no, there isn't really any of that. If you throw a frag grenade, and shoot it in the air, it does explode in a like bigger than it would. So that's kind of cool, depending on. Or how actually, many I guess
because
nearby.
You're on God Hard, you probably die easier.
Yeah, I have been thinking about doing like a casual. There is the most competitive category is the casual run.
I bet in that mode grenades would not even do that much to you probably.
And it's like an hour 20 or so. The record, it's like Sunshine-esque. So I might give that a shot one of these days, but
that's probably more technical versus just like surviving.
So the EMP thing like cheeses bosses really well, and I kind of miss it, but it cheeses Bogey Brothers really good.
Ooh.
And the first time I attempted it in a run, I saved 13 minutes in Bogey Brothers. So now it's like a 4-minute split.
I just gotta find that similar style cheese for Grey Prince Zote.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. You got to find the EMP grenade cheese.
Find the EMP grenade cheese of Hollow Knight.
And
which probably honestly probably exists. But I haven't seen any speedrun stuff of the game yet. So
But it's still really easy to die in Vanquish God Hard, obviously.
So obviously it's God Hard.
So it feels like I think that's why what I mean by it still feels like a mechanic within the game. Like it's like, oh, you can take advantage of EMP grenades, but like the animation in order to throw an EMP grenade is still really long, and like sure it stuns everything, but you can't stun everything all the time, so you still have to like stay aware of everything. So it's really interesting where it is right now within Vanquish. It doesn't feel like it's totally cheating the game, but it's definitely cheating the game to some extent. And so I learned all that stuff. So that was
you're right. It's not just cheating the game; it's cheating yourself. You experienced a hollow victory.
I'm cheating myself. I would like, and we were talking about hoverless earlier, and when I learned the EMP grenade just abuse, I was just sitting to myself, and KO was in the chat, and it was just like, oh, this kind of cheapens it. And I was just like, what if we made a category? And I can't be the new guy that comes into the Vanquish. I can't be the guy that comes into the Vanquish scene. What's up?
Dude, that's the thing that like every long-time runner of a game hates to see, or is just like annoyed to see, is just that guy who It doesn't really run the game, just like comes in like, you should really add this category. Like no jumping on Tuesdays %. It's like
it would be just like it would be like glitchless.
Yeah.
Or like grenade spamless. But I know that I can't, like, I've been around speedrunning long enough that I can't be the guy that joins a game and be like, hey, you guys should add this category. So
yeah, if you were like brand new to speedrunning as a concept, maybe you'd be that guy.
Yeah.
But
so
you've been around the block for like a number of years now. Like you can't just,
Yeah.
So you gotta prove yourself in the game first.
I need to get the God Hard world record.
And then you can make all the big shot calls.
And then I can be like, hey, let's make all the boss fights really hard.
Let's make no butt sliding to the left, only 2 grenades per level, glitchless runs.
Because you know how hard Bogey Brothers ended up being. Like,
oh, yeah. Dude, if I were you, using this thing would be so cathartic. Yeah, like this thing that just gave you so much struggle. It's like, I'm just gonna cheese you. Fuck you.
but at the same time, I'm sitting there going like, I already put so much time into this, and I've gotten so good at it.
You won it the legitimate way. You deserve to just be like, fuck you.
I did it the legitimate way. Like, I think my shortest split without cheesing it is like an 18-minute split, which is really like 18 hours to 18 minutes. That's a good improvement.
That's a 60x decrease in time.
Yeah. And that's about where I am. Like, maybe I'll suggest it, but first I'm going to try to like get my time down and maybe be competitive for the world record. Who knows if I beat it, if I beat the God Hard world record, do you think the guy that got it on Xbox 360 in 2015, would he come back? I don't know.
It's entirely possible. I've seen it happen before where I'm trying to think of an example. Oh, I know there were some games, maybe it was like certain Mario Kart 64 time trials or something, where someone beats this long-standing thing that was set like in 2003 or something, and then that guy from 03 just like comes back and beats it again. It's like, what the fuck?
Maybe he'll do it. Maybe that'll happen.
We'll see.
But yeah, that's the Vanquish. That's the Vanquish.
Before Hover Night.
Before Hover Night, yes.
What's Hover Night?
What is Hover Night? We should make that game.
Yeah, we should. I was looking at my notes. I saw Hoverless GBS and said Hover Night. So before Hollow Knight, right? Okay. Which I put 40 hours into, still playing it, loving it, great game. I played a different indie game known as Everhood.
Oh yeah.
And Everhood, so I saw this game, J Buzzy B was playing it, good friend of ours. He was streaming it a few months ago. It looked interesting. It looked like Undertale, except the core gameplay was dodging Guitar Hero rhythm notes. And I played the game, and that's quite literally what it is. And,
yeah.
I beat the game. It's a really, really short game. And I gotta say, I was digging it at first. I was, very quirky. The key word is quirky. This is a quirky ass game. And they do no shortage of reminding you that it's like, be ready to just bend your own reality. This game's fucking weird. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm sure it's weird or whatever. It's like Undertale, fuck it. And yeah, there's moments where like there's very trippy visuals, just far out stuff that's happening. But I think the biggest complaints I have with this game was they focused a bit too much on the quirkiness.
Yeah.
And not enough on the fun gameplayness. I mean, okay, I don't want to like cut him. I don't want to jab him too hard, but like, I could see people getting into the dodging rhythm note thing, and it's more than just dodging notes. There's also like a mechanic halfway through the game where you can grab certain color notes, and if you time grabbing like 2 of them, you can shoot them back at like the boss or the enemy you're fighting.
Yeah.
And well, I say enemy. There's not really any enemies in this game. It's really just different entities or characters or random inanimate objects. Would just be like, I challenge you. And it's like, it's very RPG. But I don't know. This game just had a very, and of course, I only got like one in like the default ending they probably expect you to get. There's probably much better endings you could get in this game, but I didn't really bother to explore it. Quite frankly, I got bored of the gameplay pretty quickly. But the ending I got, it just felt very like they tried to make it sound like a happy note to end on, but I just felt sort of gross inside.
Okay.
Because most of the game, you're literally just going through, and these spirits from the unknown are telling you, like, they remind you over and over again, subtly, or maybe not so subtly, you have to kill 30, or like, you have to kill everyone so that the spirits can, I don't even fucking get the story, it's so weird. But yeah, you meet all these friends, all these people, like, throughout the first half of the game, it's pretty happy-go-lucky. Then the second half is literally just, once you gain this mechanic, you get your arm back is what it is. And once you have your arm, you can grab certain color notes and then throw them back at someone to like do damage to them. Mm-hmm. Before that point, you're just dodging the notes. So it's like a very pacifist thing.
Yeah.
It goes from pacifist to like actually fighting in a sense. And you just go through one by one to the characters you've made like small to large connections with in the game, and you're just killing them one by one. It's like, oh, it's that guy, like the gelatinous ooze friend of mine. I'm gonna kill you. And you just kill 30 people, and then you eventually kill the doors which led to all the people, and then you are fighting the sun, and then some weird like 2D pixel Buddha shows up, and you're like fighting. I don't even fucking know what's going on.
This all makes sense to me.
And it's just like super duper quirky, and like, I don't know. I got bored of the actual gameplay, and I felt gross because I was just killing everyone. It was just like the vibes were. It wasn't vibing with me, but I could see the appeal. But for me personally, I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. I don't know.
See, you know what? It's weirdly nice to hear you talk about a game that you weren't that into.
Yeah.
Because every game that you usually talk about is just like, yeah, Hollow Knight, it's really good.
Well,
Dark Souls 3,
right,
it's really good. Dark Souls 2 is really good.
I typically only play games that are like renowned masterpieces.
True.
Like, it's fucking dark. It's fucking Hollow Knight. Like, who hasn't heard of Hollow Knight?
Yeah.
But like Everhood, it's just like some random experimental indie game. Like, come on.
Oh, speaking of which, oh, fuck. Oh, maybe it's the last day. You should get a game. Okay, I don't know what it is. Relicta.
Relicta?
Relicta, Relicta.
Relicta, okay.
It's on Epic Games. It might still be free. Mm-hmm. Today might be the last day it's free. But as we record, so when this is posted, definitely not free anymore. But it's like, it said it's like a puzzle game. That's literally all I know.
It's like a puzzle game.
It's a first-person puzzle game. So
okay. It's The Witness.
Yeah, that it's just like 2.5 dimensions is melee. First-person puzzle is The Witness. With hands. You have hands.
Ooh.
I know that. So
in The Witness, you don't even have hands. You just have a shadow.
So I've actually heard nothing about it, and I've seen like a little bit of the ad. I'm like, oh, and I downloaded it. So I was just like, I'm gonna give it a shot. Maybe we can give it a shot, and then have another game we can add to the fives pile.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I guess to further put stuff on Everhood, like some stuff it did right, it wasn't only dodging rhythm notes. There were like occasional mini games. There was actually like a pretty fun racing game at some point where like you're charging through. There's like a really good sense of speed. You're passing by like all the friends you've made like on this racetrack. Yeah. The first place guy is kind of an asshole. He like throws this can at you and you know, like dodge it and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like there's occasional like funness to be had. And the dodging notes is pretty fun for like the first couple of hours. It just gets boring and makes you wish you were playing Guitar Hero instead. So that's the main thing. And you know, there actually were, it's a very creepy game too. There's very creepy moments.
Yeah.
And like kind of a almost scary moment where like you're walking through this very like this blue maze, and then this like weird like giant spider creature is like zooming through, and you don't see him until like he just like runs into you. Mm-hmm. It's very creepy and bizarre, but yeah, the atmosphere is set up pretty well, and the visuals are super trippy, but like ultimately I didn't have much fun with it, and whatever story they were trying to tell was just kind of weird, and I guess that's Everhood for you. Yeah, again, if dodging rhythm game notes sounds fun to you, maybe you'd be more into it, but to the viewer, not you.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't think you'd be interested in this.
No, I remember watching Jay Buzzyby play it, and you were just like, "Oh, I'm interested," and I was sitting there going like, "Yeah, I don't really care." I remember that moment, I knew.
I was just like, "Yo, I remember Guitar Hero. This looks like Guitar Hero. Ooh."
It's the opposite.
It's the opposite of Guitar Hero. Surely that's also good.
Woo!
But yeah.
So I have something on my list that we've done in the past 2 weeks that you probably wouldn't even think to talk about. Okay. So on my stream the other week, we rewatched the Brotherhood race.
I was wondering if we'd ever get to this, actually.
I wrote it down. So a couple weeks ago, we rewatched the Brotherhood race and like listened back to our commentary and just kind of we had our cams on stream. It was just kind of it was my stream for the day because I've been trying to stream again every day. I still have to do my stream for the day today, and I don't.
You're becoming the mini cloaked Yoshi, the mini Chushi.
I don't know what I'm gonna play, but I'll probably just do like a DKC run. I haven't done.
By the way, dude, how many days has Chushi streamed every single day?
I don't know. He beat the record. Who did he take the record from? Like, it doesn't have frag in it.
Lethal frag. Lethal
frag. Yeah, he took it from.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is that like no one can beat his record till he like breaks his streak.
Yeah,
it's unbeatable.
And yeah, so I've been doing that. So we did the Brotherhood rewatch.
Yep.
And what like I don't even remember. We went through it. We were watching the commentary. I was ahead for bits and pieces of it. We had to rewatch it so that I could be like, okay, what did we do? You know. And
also, it was mainly so you could sort of vaguely relearn how the route goes, so you could do it for your marathon.
Exactly, and just the banter between us and how many times we quoted NPCs and stuff. Like it's so removed from us today because it was literally 5 years ago. And
yeah, we would just nonchalantly quote a line where now we're like, I don't even remember them saying that. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's just like, where did all this come from? And we're just sitting there in current time laughing at us, laughing at our 5 years ago selves, just immersed in Brotherhood NPC lines.
Yeah. And the only things I remember are like, I hope they let us go inside, all those things. And then no man can murder me.
Yeah, well, I didn't even remember that one.
I remember that was a classic. That's a classic banger.
Well, hearing us re-say it, but it was funny. Like what times like in current time we were talking about something that we thought we weren't going to cover in commentary, and then 3 seconds later, past Trey or past Sid would just like pipe up and be like, oh, okay, like SM Loader made a strat for this guy. And but none of us know it. So it's just lost to time. There's no way SM Loader remembers the strat. There's
no, dude, he might remember that.
But
he remembers being the ass intern.
Yeah,
us,
but
like helping us out.
But like, does he remember the strat for the big guy at the end?
He might, dude. That was sick.
But it was fun. It was funny because like 5 minutes before you were just like, oh yeah, SM Loader made this strat for this guy at the end that I never learned. That we probably won't have to talking about it. And I think you went to the washroom or something when it came up, and then you in 5 years ago were just like, yeah, okay, so SM Loader made a strat. And I was just sitting there going like, oh, my head. Like,
yeah, it's like, did you just say that? Oh no, that was you 5 years ago. Okay,
exactly. But it's funny how many times we did that, where it's just like, okay, so this is what we'll cover, and then like as you said it, you said it, and I was just like, did you just realize that you said that in the past? And you're just like, no, I didn't. I wasn't paying attention. I was talking.
I sound like a broken record, I guess.
But it's just funny how many times we retreaded.
Man, this part where like you got to carry this woman down here is so annoying. And then like me in the past would also say the same thing. It's like
the thing that I did is I made a song reference. In current time, like you said something in the past, I made a song reference, and then past me made the same song reference.
What?
And I was sitting there going like, oh, that's like, I'm not surprised, but like I didn't know.
I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed.
But we went through it. We had never seen like how big my mistake was. And what's interesting, so we've talked about the Ass Creed race in the past.
Yes,
and,
we did an Assassin's Creed Brotherhood race after doing like three, like one casual playthrough, one sort of taking notes playthrough, and then one more after that.
Yeah, and so we did our race, and there was a huge mistake that I made early on. And we've talked about that, where it's just like, oh, I didn't get a Borgia Tower, and the Borgia Tower is like, you have to unlock an area, and then it actually bleeds into unlocking assassin recruits.
Yeah, you have to get a certain number of Borgia Towers to get more assassin recruits, and for a certain mission later on, you have to have 2 assassin recruits.
Yeah.
It's like a bottleneck.
But the thing is, I never realized that partway through the race, we actually had a conversation where, and like re-listening to the commentary, I was just like, I do not remember this, and it's crazy that I still forgot. Where I think like so however long in, I killed the Borgia captain and then didn't climb the tower.
Yeah, I remember that much.
And I was just like, oh, okay. That, like, I remember that happening. That sucks, because now in 3 hours, when I get to near the end of the game, I have to waste 10 minutes in order to, like, figure out what I did wrong, have to go get a Borgia tower, and then come back. And then, and that just, like, bled all of my time. And the fact that your ending sucked so bad that I ended up catching up is insane.
Dude, because the part where you have the apple that can just, like, one-shot people, I kept failing this, like, 2-minute segment at the very end of the 2 minutes, just, like... I would walk barely out of the bounds of where they want you to be and just desync instantly. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this happening?
It was really funny rewatching that, because I'm sitting there going like, Jesus.
Like normally in Assassin's Creed, if you're on the boundary, the game warns you like, don't go any further, you'll desync. In this section, you walk out of bounds, just instant desync. Boom, redo it. Fuck you. It's like, what the fuck?
And then you rewatch mine and you're just like, and then mine, I'm just looking at it going like, dude, I'm so clean at this. What the fuck?
Yeah, you were on a mission to catch up to me at that point, and I was making all these like dumb mistakes.
I still ended up losing by 2 minutes, but so what's funny is that, so I made the mistake early on and killed the Borgia captain, didn't climb the tower, and I knew that I knew that much. Like now, sitting here, like a month ago, I knew that I had screwed that up like 5 years ago, whatever.
I think that for your Sit-a-thon, you'll at least remember to get the Borgia Tower and climb the tower too.
I will remember to do the Borgia Tower. But there's, in like sequence 4 or whatever, we did have a conversation where I was sitting there going like, oh, it looks like the Borgia Tower is still here. Weird. And we had like a short conversation where I acknowledged the fact, oh, I killed the Borgia captain and didn't climb the tower. Like I said it out loud.
Yeah, so like, you remembered, then you forgot again.
And then I'm sitting there going like current me, I'm sitting there going like, bro, I forgot all about that conversation. I don't remember it still. Like I don't remember, like I saw it happen, but I'm sitting here going like, I don't recall that conversation. I don't remember my brain acknowledging that Borgia Tower was still up. And then promptly I forgot. And then 2 hours or 3 hours later, I get to the same point and go like, what the fuck am I missing? So this whole conversation in sequence 4 I was erased from my brain. Like, wow. Acknowledging this Borgia Tower. And that's like the biggest moment for me, because I'm just like, oh, that's 10 minutes. Like, that's just gone.
My strat in the past was to distract you so you forgot again, and then I'd win the race.
I guess. But that's what... So we went through that, and that was kind of fun.
I think the funniest thing that I forgot about was we would call the like assassin hideout the Ass Hotel.
The Ass Hotel, yeah.
And, like in our notes, it's like, go back to Ass Hotel, and then that's so funny, dude.
And then strats to follow, I forgot too.
Strats to follow,
where it's just like I would start writing notes and be like, yeah, but like, yeah, for this mission, we'll figure it out. Strats to follow, like.
Yeah, I think whenever it's like a following someone mission, which is like half the missions in Assassin's Creed, it's just like. Yeah, just follow him. Strats to follow.
Well, I meant strats to follow as in, like, I will eventually write strats for this.
Oh, yeah, it's like a double meaning. Kinda.
Yeah, so it's like strats to follow. Eventually, I'll write something. I
thought it meant, like, strats of just following him and not getting caught in something.
No. Okay. It meant I will eventually make strats. And,
which, of course, we didn't. So.
Of course we didn't. So, yeah, so I still haven't, that was what, a week and a half ago that we did that, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, that was pretty fun. We just went through, watched those blast from the past sort of deal.
Well, also, this is our second Sunday release, so it was probably like 2.5 weeks ago.
2.5 weeks ago. We should figure out a new game to race at some point.
Well, wasn't it Metroid Prime?
Yeah, I've been leaning towards Metroid Prime 2. I'm debating between going in fully raw and blind or like doing a practice go through before it.
Just like Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, because like Metroid Prime 2, it could potentially be really interesting to just go fully blind. It's very risky though, because it's possible that one of us just knows the game a lot better than the other unknowingly.
Yeah. And
someone gets like multiple hours ahead.
Exactly.
And I want to avoid that if possible. But it could also be really fun.
It would be like the OOT race where one of us is Cathalon and one of us is
Yeah, like one of us is like the 13 hours and one of us is like 6 hours.
Yeah. Or 8 hours or whatever.
Honestly, Metroid Prime 2, we'd be lucky to finish in one sitting. That game is super not obtuse. It's very easy to get lost.
I remember liking it a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But obviously, like, I don't think I've beaten it twice. Like, I think it's one of those games. It was one of the first games where I think Twilight Princess I even played multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Metroid Prime 2 is just so, like, I've only gotten the screw attack. The screw attack.
That's that's the last thing you get, I think.
Yeah, and I don't remember getting it more than once, so I had to have only played it once and then like tried to 100% it. I don't know if I did. I think I did.
I remember I got to the final boss, didn't beat it, never beat it.
Oh, you never beat it?
No, I think I told you this, right?
I seem to recall something.
I got to Emperor Aang, died a few times. I was like, I'll come back to this later, and I never did. And I've done that with Minish Cap as well, I think. So I don't know why I do that, but yep.
So yeah, maybe we'll try to figure that. I have to do the sit-a-thon first so that I don't have to add Metroid Prime. Yeah. See, what's funny about the sit-a-thon is that it's stopping me from doing other because actually Rudhira and I have talked about doing Stardew Valley and trying to like do a tandem Stardew Valley run and see how.
I have no idea what a Stardew Valley run would even resemble.
What community center any percent or whatever. There's like a community center that you can unlock in Stardew Valley where you have to bring these just like resources that you get like fish or you can plant random I guess
trees.
Like not trees, but like random.
What do you plant?
Random plants, like strawberries.
You can plant random plants,
like fruits, produce. You just plant random produce and you bring like a parsnip and a strawberry. So like all these different packages within the community center, and then the community center is rebuilt. So I guess rebuild the community center percent.
It's kind of like the pay off all debts run in Animal Crossing. Kinda,
I guess, yeah.
Where you're just like getting a certain number of money and then just paying off all the debts.
Because Stardew Valley is one of those games that just like never really finishes. Like you can finish it.
Animal Crossing's the same way.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those. So it's just like you have to find the little sliver, like the pie piece that you can complete. And then
actually Animal Crossing has all kinds of categories like golden rod, golden nets, golden, like whatever golden tool.
Yeah.
100% if you're a masochist. All kinds of stuff like that. So so we were talking about that. So I have to do the sit-a-thons, but I still have to prep 3 games. And I did the Galaxy run. Like I did a Galaxy run the other week, hoping I did an any percent Mario Galaxy run, just like 60 stars. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And because thinking that the any percent file would give me a Luigi file, but apparently you have to complete 120.
No.
So either I have to play offline the rest of that, or I have to, and I probably might lean this way, just do a 120 Mario Galaxy stream. Because I have to stream every day.
Why not just use Mario, to be honest?
Well, because the spirit of it is to use Luigi. And Luigi's faster.
Oh yeah, but then you gotta make a file and then fucking...
Well, like making a file on a random other day is way better than on that day watching all the cutscenes for Galaxy.
Yeah, I guess that would help.
Yeah, I don't want to watch all the during the sit-a-thon, I want to cut that time down as much as I can. I don't want to have to watch all of the cutscenes as Mario.
Yeah, just like make a Luigi file and copy it over.
Yeah, I'm going to copy it like 4 times so that I don't accidentally have to do that. But yeah, so that's happening. When are we going to play the Forest?
I don't know. We wanted to get Dappy, KO, now Quan in on it.
Yeah.
I think we just got to add Quan to the group sometime and be like, yo, Forest, whenevs.
We have to add him back.
KO, add him back to the group.
Because he left. He's just like, you guys never want to play with me. It's just like, wait, what?
Like, dude, we're right here. We're here for you, Quan. Come on.
You can type to us.
We got to add him back, and then KO needs to buy the game. He's mad because he missed the winter sale, even though I literally told him to buy it during it. He just didn't buy it. So, I mean, he's only got himself to blame, is all I'm saying. But,
yeah.
The Forest can be fun. You played it in the pre-alpha version of it. So
yeah, it was great in the pre-alpha. And then, as you said on stream, they ruined it with the pre-alpha.
Yeah, man. It just wasn't the same, man. Damn.
So one thing that you mentioned the other day, and I guess we can like kind of end on this unless you have more notes.
I don't really have anything else.
We can just have like a basic conversation. So speedrunning is, right?
When you are
you go fast.
Fast.
Yeah, when you're fast. Or slow. You can speedrun slow.
Hey, we don't judge. We don't discriminate.
We welcome everybody.
You can be slow.
If you complete a speedrun and then post it to the boards, nobody's going to shame you.
Nope.
Welcome into the community.
Welcome.
Maybe you can try to get better. Or you can find Hoverless GBS for us. You know?
And then disappear off the face of the earth.
Do whatever you like. But so a random tweet that you just kind of put out there that we could have like a small discussion about, because I've been doing a bunch of random speedruns lately. I've been trying to improve my 80%. I've cut down Vanquish God Hard by half of what it was. I did a few hours of Galaxy the other day. Donkey Kong Country lately is less than an hour. You just sent one of those random poll tweets to me over Discord, or just kind of being like, oh, vote for what the optimal speedrun time is.
Oh, yeah. This was put out by the speedrun.com Twitter account.
Yeah. And it like its option was an hour or less, and then it was like a few hours. Like that was the jump.
Yeah, wait, let me find it. It was, I like, yeah, here it is. What's the ideal length for a speedrun for you and why? And the options were so vastly different.
Yeah.
They are less than 1 minute, 1 hour or less, a few hours, or 6 or more hours.
Yeah, but it...
less than a minute. What the fuck is less than a minute? Clue?
Less than...
like, Uwana's fetch a fruit?
I guess less than a minute could be like some ILs, but...
But I feel like it should have been like, under 20 minutes or like an hour to 2 hours, like a little more like actual speedrun lengths, not like these huge extremes.
The thing is, going into that poll, like the options that you put out, you know what's going to win.
Yeah, it's clearly 1 hour or less. That's like 99% of speedruns.
But also like it doesn't have anything to compete against. Like 3 hours or less, it's like okay, like
it also it encapsulates the first option because an hour or less, that's also less than a minute.
Yeah.
So like, what the fuck?
so it doesn't really have ranges. It just kind of goes like, an hour or less, and you're just sitting there going like, I guess Donkey Kong Country, like for me, is kind of
literally an hour or less has 75% of the votes. Unsurprisingly.
Yeah, it's just like who's going to vote for 6 or more? Who's going to vote for Galaxy 120?
Also, I just got to point out the final. Length. The 6 or more hours option says 6 or more ow or how. It's just HOU.
So at this point, we're just critiquing the poll. The poll is scuffed.
I don't know. This poll, it doesn't scream of a passionate poll maker. It screams of, we want more engagement. So
yeah.
And
it did start getting me thinking, it's like, what is the most optimal run? But like, or the most optimal run time. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, when I was doing my True All Hundo yesterday, an hour and a half in to like such a focus intensive run, because I have to like stay focused and pay attention to what coins I'm collecting and when, I'm exhausted like already an hour and a half in.
See, I think that the length, it correlates to how serious you are about the run.
Yeah.
Because I found 120 shines like a lot more enjoyable back when I was starting out. It was more of a novel thing. I could just, getting sub 4 hours was a big deal.
Yeah.
I wasn't as worried about like each individual nitpicky mistake is like, oh, I failed. Yoshi skipped 2 times. It's no big deal. I can still PB this. But then when you get like optimized in 120 shines and you're pushing sub 3, it becomes just insanely stressful at some point.
Yeah.
And I think that like the more serious you are, the shorter you want it to be to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like maybe not like 5 minutes, it's a little bit short for my taste. But like a half hour, like Pac-Man World 2 length is good, 40 minutes,
It like with Vanquish versus True All Hundo, like they're not at the same time anymore. I've actually cut Vanquish lower than True All Hundo, but True All Hundo is so like densely packed.
Oh yeah, and you are focused for like the majority of that because it's all the levels with like there's no downtime. You're just constantly focused. On the level.
Yeah, it's not like you enter the level. It's like, oh, I'm going to do the GWK for Goopy Inferno, and then just like this is just a clear cut level. This is each level you enter, you collect 100 coins.
Yeah, there's a lot of time between being able to read chat.
Yeah, and that's and that speaks volumes to like it's not even. There's a lot of time between reading chat. It's a lot of time between just being able to just chill.
Yeah.
So it's just like you enter a level.
That category seems just too exhausting for me. If that category was like half the length, I'd probably consider it.
Yeah.
Like, man, it's so much.
I'm considering making like the first half a category on its own, or like not like an official category extension, but like just doing the first half of as attempts. And
the non-shitty true hundos.
Yeah, just like everything before GBS, but it's not because of its length. It's because of just like how densely packed it is. So the question of like what's the optimal speedrun length feels so odd to me because it really depends on what the run is.
Yeah, if I'm doing a casual thing, like I would love to do just a casual Metroid Prime 2, see if I can even do it in one sitting.
Yeah.
Even if it takes 15 hours, like I'm down for that. But if it was a very focused, intense 15 hours, fuck that.
Yeah. Donkey Kong Country, where I am in Donkey Kong Country, I'm not any good at it, but I've gotten sub-hour recently.
Yeah.
And like trying to optimize that and trying to be like super focused and pay attention to when Diddy rolls and remember, like we make fun of 2D games and how they're 2.5.
I think 2D games like low key, maybe high key. I think 2D game speedruns might, in general, take more skill than 3D.
It's insane because with
3D, the main thing that you bring up with DKC, there's much more memorization with like what's coming up.
Exactly.
In 3D, you can always see directly in front of you what's coming up.
Exactly.
So there's no memorization involved. It's just like, okay, I know this is the thing. I can see my character looking in front of me. This is the thing. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So
the most valuable notes I have for speedruns so far is my DKC notes, because I literally have notes that say for Manic Mincers in Donkey Kong Country, the note is when you get to the sign, don't trust. Like stop trusting the level when you get to the arrow pointing to the right, because when you pass
do you have one that says 135 degrees?
No, I don't have a 135
that's my favorite note.
I don't have any True All Hundo notes.
Yeah.
Which is like, because you can see everything. Like if it was a 2D game and you have to like remember when things show up, I'd write notes. But DKC is just like, when you get to this sign that says an arrow forward, don't trust the level, because there's going to be a mincer or like one of those spinning gears that have spikes on it that just kind of try to kill you and just from off screen, just very cheaply, just hit you, and you just have to kind of stop, wait for it to happen, and then go. But at least where I am in speedrunning, like Silent Wolf would probably have a lot easier of a time with it because he's been playing the game for however long and is way better than me at it. But right now I'd be like, I have to stop at this sign because you know what? I can't fucking see that this gear is going to show up, and I have to just know.
Yeah, 2D games, especially at the rate of DKC, it's a Simon Says memory game when it comes down to it.
Yeah, and it's still less than an hour. So that question, like, sure, you can say an hour and a half or less, even though the vote is for an hour or less. I think it's like an hour and a half or less is kind of optimal. Like Sunshine is pretty optimal speedrun wise, considering how much downtime there is in between levels.
And considering how jank that game is and how like loosey-goosey the camera is and stuff.
Yeah. And, but like we've talked about how Sunshine is like the optimal speedrun stream game.
It's pretty fucking good for streaming. Like I still enjoy streaming any percent, and I've been playing it for like 10,000 years. So
yeah, because there's half a minute of downtime between each level. You can just kind of sit and chill. You
can choose to do Peach File to play a little game before the run starts.
Yeah, it's not too much downtime between levels that it's like awkward, and especially if you can like interact, if you have a chat to interact with, then perfect. But
yeah, I think 64, it's a little too short between levels to like really interact with chat.
Yeah,
I think Sunshine strikes the perfect balance.
Exactly. So, but then something with less downtime during the in-between. Like, DKC has no downtime. Like, you finish a level, you have the animation where Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong move to the next level after they do the little dance.
Yep, little dance is cool.
They do a little dance, and then they go to the next level, but it's 7 seconds. And during that 7 seconds, because I'm so new to the game, I have to look at my notes and be like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
Like, what level is next? Or, like, what important note for the next level do I have?
And then some games, like Pac-Man World 2, have an 8-minute sub-level where you're just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
And if that was instead actual levels that are fun to do, then it'd be a whole different game probably. So.
Yeah, and in Vanquish, in 50 minutes in, you have the auto scroller that's 3 minutes, and you just kind of chill and do whatever. But it's welcome at that point because again, Vanquish, you're just trying not to die, or at least in God Heart,
it is nice to have a little break like that in speedrun sometimes.
Yeah,
if it's just intense the whole way, it just gets a little too sweaty, I guess. I don't know.
But it's just like game dependent.
Yeah, it's
that whole question.
Like, not only are the time intervals a failure in my book, it's just like it's too vague of a question, man. It's like so many variables involved. So we're just gonna criticize the speedrun.com Twitter account, and that'll be that.
I think you can do the poll, but you just have to have better. Like, is it an hour to an hour and a half? Is it less than an hour? Is it 3 hours plus? Is it between 2 and 3 hours?
Don't have less than a minute or less than an hour as two different options.
Because Bianco 100s doesn't even fall into less than a minute.
Yeah, what the fuck is less than a minute?
What is less than a minute?
Clue, Uwanas, Fetch a Fruit. I already listened to those two.
You want to do Rico 3? Is Rico 3 the optimal IL?
You know, maybe it's Big Brain. Maybe it's like the IL option, you know?
Well, but it's still less than a minute.
Yeah, some ILs, plenty of them are more than a minute. That's true.
Yeah. You know what? Pianta 6, 17 minutes.
Yeah. That's
Pianta 600s.
That's longer than Mario World 11 Exit, which is a full run.
But also watching somebody do a run for up to 4 hours is still really fun. So it's like optimal for viewing, optimal for playing, optimal. There's a lot of perspectives that you can take into it. But ultimately, the perfect speed run is the game you enjoy. I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess we can just end it on that.
You got to end on a cheesy note.
Yeah. But yeah.
So, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, YouTube. You know the drill.
Yeah. See you guys next Sunday for the guest pod.
Peace.